everyone. In today's episode, we are going to talk about factors responsible for business growth. They can be as simple as networking with like minded people to leveraging technologies. At the same time, we are going to talk about government initiative to support the startup ecosystem in India. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the brand new episode of our podcast, The Business Queens. Today, we have on the show Miss Shrutika Sridhar, who's the co founder of the Fish Company. Welcome, Shrutika, to the show.
Thank you, Ishleen. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Shrutika, so I was going through your profile, and to my amazement, I saw that you were a lawyer before. So, how did you decide to transition from being a lawyer to an entrepreneur altogether?
Right. So, it wasn't just a decision I came to in one day. I would say it was a very organic process. So I did my LLB and then I was practicing for 2 years in the Delhi courts, High Court, District Court, Supreme Court. And I was always interested in entrepreneurship because even as a lawyer, I feel a lot of the skills that you develop in your legal practice, they sort of translate into your practice as an entrepreneur also. So a
Yes.
lot of those critical thinking, reasoning, multitasking, etc. And entrepreneurship was always something that fascinated me, being able to build something from scratch. That was something I was always drawn towards. So India Fish Company, actually, the idea for it came behind the company during the first lockdown of COVID. So I live in Delhi NCR, and I remember one day we were trying to order two fish dishes at home, a fish curry and a grilled fish for my mom and me. And to our surprise, we couldn't find a single place in Delhi NCR that served these two items under one roof. So while you had a lot of restaurants obviously dealing with fish and seafood, they were all very regional in the sense that you had your Malabar cuisine or you had your continental, but there was no one-stop shop for fish.
Hmm.
And we are very heavy fish eaters in our home. My parents have lived in Bengal for many years, so a lot of that eating culture has permeated into our house. And I just thought this was a very visible gap in the market because it's not like people in Delhi, NCR, or North don't like eating fish. So
Hmm.
why don't we have that availability and that variety presented to us, especially in the national capital of the country? And Delhi is known as the foodies capital of the country.
Right.
So that's where, that visible gap in the market was very clear to me. And I thought that maybe we should sort of explore that and see if we can start out a small pilot in terms of, delivery kitchens serving different variations of fish.
Hmm.
That is how the idea sort of kept brewing. Then I did my research around it. At that time, this was again during first COVID lockdown, a lot of home kitchens were popping up.
Okay.
So you could see people sort of going back to their mothers, their grandmothers' recipes, experimenting, actually making that into a feasible business of their own.
Hmm.
All of these factors sort of catapulted me towards, going ahead with the idea for India Fish Company at that time.
That's great, and I would say you have hit the nail at the right part because I have seen many startups fail because they were not able to recognize the problem of the audience well. So, what your client wants, if you are able to address that. So, many people have this notion in mind when it comes to startup, your idea has to be unique. I agree with it. But if your unique idea is not able to solve any problem, that unique idea is of no use.
Absolutely. Agreed. Agreed. You have to have a product that sells and also a product that's solving a pain point for the
Hmm.
consumer. That is the most important thing at the end of the day.
Right, absolutely. So tell us something, Shrutika, like a women entrepreneur, that too in the food industry. Like, were there any challenges that you initially faced, and how were you able to overcome those challenges?
Of course, I would say that it is still a man's world that we live in, no matter where it is, in India or in the West. It's just, you will have it in different shades and maybe subtler forms, but it is what it is. And I consider myself very privileged in that sense because I'm surrounded by a lot of men, professionally and personally, who've not just inspired me but also encouraged me at every step. So I would consider myself very privileged. But of course, not just the food industry, I think any industry, you have to, as they say, shatter the glass ceiling as a woman, especially as a woman entrepreneur. Just from the smallest things, for instance, the staff you deal with, them not maybe taking you as seriously as they would take your male counterpart,
Hmm.
or just in terms of how you deal with people, the preconceived notions that people sort of approach you with just because of your gender.
Hmm.
So I even when I was practicing as a lawyer, even though it was just 2 years, but there were instances then also. So I don't think it's specific to any industry. I think as a woman in any professional field, you'll always have to work maybe twice as hard to prove yourself. But it's there's so many amazing women entrepreneurs doing such amazing things out there who are so inspiring to me also. So I just look at them and we have to keep pushing on, fight the good fight at the end of the day.
I completely agree, and I feel it's not only about being a woman. I've seen many men, failing because of this, because they somehow lack the motivation. And these days, we have actually a good number of women entrepreneurs who are getting successful. We can really look up to them. If they can address their challenges, come out of their comfort zone, convince their families, then why can't we?
Absolutely agreed with you. So, the business that I'm in, which is, raw fish and seafood, it's primarily very male dominated. And there are a lot of times when I don't have a lot of women on our workforce also. So, a lot of times it gets very isolating. But,
Hmm.
I'm part of a lot of these groups, women only networking groups. So, you go out, you meet other women, you hear their stories. It's very inspiring. And I think women are born entrepreneurs. Like, it doesn't matter if we're sitting in an office or a boardroom or we're a homemaker running a house. It's literally in our blood. So I think women can do it all, honestly.
I completely agree with the point that women are born entrepreneurs. I've seen so many women around me who, were not able to complete their education. They were not able to they sacrificed so many things for their families. Still, they are running their business extremely well. They are doing wonders. And the people are coming and taunting them, oh my God, you have become a business woman, things like that. But still, they are able to overcome all that. That's great. Okay, Shrutika, tell us something more. Like the motto of your company is catch to customer, catch to consumer.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
So, India Fish Company was started with the vision that we wanted to be the market leader synonymous with quality fish and seafood.
Hmm.
That's what we started as. And along the lines, once we entered into the fishery industry, we realized day by day that it's extremely unregulated. The way the industry is centered is that, the fisherman the catch the fisherman catches will come to the consumer in due time, but the fisherman does not get a fair price for his catch because the way
Hmm.
the industry is structured, there are middlemen that you have to go through. So essentially, we wanted to add value to the customer, obviously giving them the freshest produce, best quality fish and seafood, but we also wanted to make sure that the fisherman, the person who's actually catching that catch for them, is getting a fair price. So we truly did our groundwork in terms of establishing relationships with fishermen,
Hmm.
with people on the coast who are actually doing the work, and ensuring that, of course, catch to consumers, that you get the most fresh quality within the shortest amount of time possible. So
Hmm.
it's like sort of like folk to farm or farm to folk. So it's catch to consumer in terms of fishing, and ensuring that value is added to both the customer and the fisherman. So both of
Hmm.
them get a fair price.
Yeah, so that's a noble thought indeed. But when it comes to something which is like something like a fish, which is perishable, so how do you
Right.
ensure that the fresh quality reaches the customer? Like, how do you manage the supply chain?
Right. So, of course, the supply and logistics is a huge part of this industry. You have to ensure that, the catch is absolutely in temperature controlled conditions. From the moment that it is caught from the water, it is handled and transported in a way that it is kept in temperature controlled conditions. So we have to ensure that. And of course, fish is the most perishable of all the meats out there,
Hmm.
meat, protein. So it's a completely different ball game. Our entire SOP and logistics from day one have been centered around fish and seafood because we don't deal with any other meat.
Okay.
So our entire company's SOPs, logistics, they have a very extremely airtight and centered around ensuring that the items are, handled with care and absolutely with
Hmm.
highest quality standards.
Okay, so when it comes to being dealing with fishermen, and as you just pointed out, that you really ensure they get good prices for their fish. How do you ensure ethical practices? Because there are so many players who are already into it, and there are people who claim they do it, but when you talk to the real people who are doing it, they come with the excuses like they tell it, but we are not fairly paid. So, have you ever come under such challenges? Like the people come to you, they tell you we are not fairly paid, you should increase it, or a sense of competition from other people who are dealing in the same industry?
Absolutely. So the fishery industry is highly unregulated. Of course, while we have the government pushing in, huge amounts with the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, a historic 3 to 400 CR was pumped into the fisheries industry for the first time in Indian history. So on a macro level, there's a lot happening.
Hmm.
But on a micro level, of course, it's a different ball game altogether because वो फिशिंग भी उसी तरीके से होती है, वो नेट्स डाल के निकालते हैं
Right.
and there's no immediate temperature control happening immediately
Hmm.
after catch is caught, तो वो आइस में डल के आता है आपके साथ. So I mean on our small micro level, we have our own fishermen, we have connects, so we have ensured that at least हम जितने small scale पे कर सके, we will empower the fisherman in terms of educating him about how to maintain the quality, temperature control,
Hmm.
or ensuring that we procure directly from him as it is. We have people on different coasts who handle all of this for us. So while it's not possible कि हम वहाँ physically हो with them
Hmm.
while they're catching their catch, but at whatever micro level we can, we're doing the best we can. We have connects with fishermen within Delhi on the coast, people who've been in this industry for years and years. So there's a lot of learning that goes both ways. I feel like we've learned a lot from them and we still have to because
Hmm.
these are the people who are actually out in the field. Hum to, we're sitting here and we talk all these talks, but we're not the people actually sort of going out in the
Yes.
waters every catch. So
Hmm.
I think it's a two-way street. We
Hmm.
empower them in whatever way and they teach us in whatever way they can. And that's how we build and grow together.
Right. And establishing the entire ecosystem around fish and the seafood, it is a very ambitious goal. I have seen many people who are dealing in other things as well. And you just stressed upon this point that you are only working in the fishery industry. So, how do you manage this ecosystem altogether? What are the strategies you used in the beginning, and what are the things you're planning for future?
Right. So we started operations in 2021. So we're only a 2-year-old venture, so as to speak, but we've done a lot of pivoting and repivoting since day one. Essentially, India Fish Company started out as a complete cooked food venture. We started out as cloud kitchens. We
Hmm.
ran our cloud kitchens for a year across Delhi NCR. We got a lot of organic growth and coverage, and we developed our loyal customer base. Also, I feel a large part of that was just because of how niche we were. We were the only delivery kitchen dealing with different variations of fish. So that was a pilot test for us where we realized that there is an inbuilt market here for us. It's just people have not explored it or dived deeper into it. Post 1 year, we repivoted. We set up our own supply and sourcing of raw fish and seafood, which we have different business verticals. So we have our B2B vertical where we supply to all Horeca institutions around Delhi and North India.
Hmm.
And we have a retail store in INA market, which is one of the oldest fish and seafood markets in Delhi. We
Okay.
have an e-commerce website, and of course, we are into the business of importing salmon, and we also have an export license, so we do that also. But within a year we really had to repivot our entire business from cooked food into raw fish and seafood. There was a lot of learning, a lot of repivoting. Plan for the future is, as we said, we want to be the market leader synonymous with quality fish and seafood. So
Hmm.
absolutely looking at ensuring that our consumers within Delhi NCR get year-round availability of all varieties of fish at an affordable price. That it is quality product that is reaching them. We are looking at entering into different verticals. We're looking
Hmm.
at developing value-added fish and seafood products.
Okay.
So also our product range is extremely vast. You have everything from a tilapia or a basa, which is a relatively cheaper fish, and
Yeah.
then you have luxury items like your prawns and salmon. So
Hmm.
we ensure that there's everything for everyone. We want to ensure year-round availability, enter into different markets, of course. North India is where we've started at, where we're headquartered, but we'd love to take our vision on a pan-India level, definitely.
Hmm.
Just ensuring that that blue revolution, that is fishes and seafood, are accessible to consumers, not just people who are already eating, but people who do not know enough about it. Because fish and seafood really is one of the healthiest proteins.
Right.
Just a mere 150 gram serving of fish accounts for 80% of our protein needs as an adult. So, of course, India having such high malnutrition rates, it's
Hmm.
quite ironic. We're the second largest exporters of shrimp in the world,
Hmm.
while our domestic consumption is not on par with even, say, our neighboring Bangladesh. So, a lot of things, this market is so untapped at the moment. There's
Hmm.
so much one can do.
So when you are saying that, I can resonate so well with you because when my son had bronchitis and a doctor told us to give him fish, we were not able to find it. Like good quality fish was far from, possible. But and I've seen that you are serving really well in North India, and we really wish you all the very best. And we would love to see your presence pan India. You're doing a great job in that.
Thank you so much, Ashleen. Thank you so much.
Okay, so tell us something about what kind of technology you are using and what are your plans in leveraging technology to make your reach far more better, like reaching to all around the country.
Right. So, in terms of technology, of course, in terms of our logistics and supply, there's a lot of temperature control technology that we do work with. Blast freezing, deep freezers, temperature control vans. In terms of technology of how we run our business, of course, the whole traditional marketing tools. You have your um, social media,
Hmm.
Instagram, Facebook, Google, you have your WhatsApp marketing, emailer marketing. We're also somewhat of a small bootstrap venture right now. So, in terms of technology, I think for us, because we're still so small at the scale, we have that direct one on one with our customers. So,
Hmm.
just even picking up the phone, checking in with the customers, having those conversations. So, of course, you have your traditional technology or digital tools that you're using, but I would say there's no substitute for having that human one on one connect.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
because we've ensured that with our consumers from day one, that they feel empowered enough to, pick up the phone and just place their orders directly with us, or have a conversation, or take a review of how they liked our products, what we can do better.
Hmm.
So that old school and new school marketing tricks we're using at the same time, so as to speak, definitely.
Okay, so when it comes to e-com, like you were telling me that you also sell online. So you sell
Right.
it primarily via your website, right?
Via website.
Okay, okay. So I would really insist people to visit your website and get their order placed. So primarily through your website, you are catering to B2C or B2B as well.
Website is entirely direct to customer. So we have
Okay.
a physical retail store where the customers can actually come and see the fish and pick out the product themselves.
Hmm.
And our e-commerce website is where we give the customers that ease, that you can get your products delivered at your doorstep at home. So you
Hmm.
don't have to actually physically venture out to get your fish and seafood.
Right. And you know what? This is, I think, the need of the hour. Every customer wants this. They want delivery at their doorsteps. Because now what is happening? There is huge transition happening in the society. Now the females are also working. People are working almost 8 to 8. They hardly have time to venture out, go and visit the physical stores. So it really gives boost to the business when it comes online.
Absolutely agreed with you. I mean, it's a very different world that we're growing up in when we were kids and our mothers were, looking after the house versus now. Because even you, I mean, you're working, and like you said, you have a son.
Hmm.
So it's not possible that you can be in the kitchen 24/7. So a lot of the way that we're now consuming food, procuring our products is very different today.
Hmm.
And of course, with the coming generations, there's also growing need for ready to eat and ready to cooked products.
Hmm.
So we want that ease, we want that comfort, we want that availability, and we want it at our doorstep.
Hmm.
And the thing with fish and seafood though is that like people like you and me, because I've grown up in Delhi. I don't know about you, I'm assuming Dehradun.
Hmm.
Right. So, since we've not grown up in coastal areas, that fish eating culture has not been in our homes. Just say
Right.
chicken bante honge
Hmm.
non-vegetarian
Hmm.
के घर में. We've
Yeah.
not been taught from a young age how to make a fish, how to clean, debone gut. So while a lot of the youngsters now they are experimental and they know about the health benefits of fish and they want to eat it, they don't know how to cook it at home.
Right.
So there's also a gap we want to bridge with our products where we actually tell the customer on how to sort of go about it, or we give them cut pieces which makes it easier for them to just do the cooking. So I mean, definitely the way we are now running our houses and moving forward consuming food, it's
Hmm.
changing. We should definitely tap into that, I would say.
Absolutely. Okay, tell us something more about your parent company, your Buzzing Kitchen. It was recognized startup by the government of India. Can you give few tips to our women entrepreneurs, like how can they also do something which can be recognized by government of India? Like what are the steps you actually took? And was it ever in your mind that you are going to make something very, very big, which is going to have a recognition? Like what were your goals in that?
So I would not say that we're very, very big right now either. There's still so much that, we have to do.
Hmm.
So, Startup India, of course, is a huge initiative by our government. India, as you know, is one of the leading startup hubs in the world, if not the leading. And
Right.
there's so much talent in this country, be it men or women entrepreneurs. So, Startup India, I would recommend to all women entrepreneurs that absolutely go sign up, apply for the DPIIT recognition, which is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade.
Hmm.
It's a very simple process. You have to go just fill out a form, answer a few questions, upload your documents, and then the government agency will decide whether or not you deserve the accreditation. I think that really helps.
Hmm.
There's a lot in terms of just opportunities for women entrepreneurs today, both in terms of government policies and what the government is offering as well as private players. I recently went to a AWS Amazon Web Services conference for
Hmm.
women entrepreneurs, and they are absolutely just assisting technologically in every sense possible in terms of assisting you with your website to building your app, and it's all for free. It's so accessible. So I would say, of course, just go online, do your research, talk to people, sign up with Startup India. There are a lot of grants, loans that are available to women entrepreneurs in different states. Um, Look at the networking opportunities in your city. Of course, for women entrepreneurs in the metropolitan cities like Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Bangalore, it's always easier. But you
Yeah.
have these networking sort of clubs. You have Leap, which is a leading networking club for women entrepreneurs. It's not pricey at all, their membership plans. It's very accessible, affordable. You keep having these virtual sessions, in person meetups. So I would say just keep doing your research. There's a lot that is provided to women entrepreneurs in India today in terms of assistance, both from government agencies as well as private players. So just join a lot of networking clubs, keep talking to people. Startup India, of course, is a great thing. Absolutely go sign up immediately.
Hmm.
And keep your ears and eyes open. There's so many opportunities, so much support. We just have to tap into it, I would say.
Right. And doing all this networking really helps. I've seen so many women entrepreneurs growing in a proper networking circle because, when you talk to somebody who's not from your field, they don't have that mindset. But when you're talking to somebody, like you're surrounded with people who are doing similar kind of things, obviously the industry can be different, their, clients can be different, but somehow they have the same mindset. So it really helps you a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you personally in my journey because, like I said, it's a very male dominated field, and I unfortunately don't have another woman on my team, although we're a small team of 8 people right now.
Hmm.
But it's benefited me so much being able to just network and meet all these amazing women from different parts of the country. So
Hmm.
I did this program called Goldman Sachs 10K, 10,000 Women Entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
It's part of Goldman Sachs CSR initiative, where
Yes.
there was a whole application round and they selected different women entrepreneurs from across the country. And
Hmm.
we did a 3 week intensive sort of MBA business entrepreneurship program in IIM Bangalore.
Hmm.
We had about 60 to 70 women in our batch across different age ranges. I was one of the youngest in the class, but I met so many amazing women from all over the country doing such amazing work. I mean, you all of these stories you won't necessarily pick up the newspaper or see in the media, but these are actually the ground realities of
Right.
how women are running operations in the country on a small scale, on a big scale.
Hmm.
And that was honestly one of the most inspiring things for me because whatever it is, entrepreneurship, it can become a very lonely journey from time to time. I mean, you
Hmm.
have to look at the mental health ramifications of it
Right.
also. So just being able to know that you have that support system, out there, and the way a woman entrepreneur can relate to your journey, I don't think anyone else can. So that's something that's helped me a lot. And I, again, for other women entrepreneurs, I would definitely say that just, tap into that support system. It
And you
definitely
said that a women entrepreneur can resonate better with you than other people. I can resonate so well with this because when I started my journey as an entrepreneur, I talked to so many people. Many of them were male counterparts, many of them were female, but still I could resonate better with the females. And now I work as a business coach for women entrepreneurs where I help them in establishing and growing their business. And when I talk to them, they share their apprehensions, they share things about their families, their children. They say, Ishleen, we can share anything with you. Because, if we'll be sharing same thing with a male counterpart, we are not sure whether he would take it in the same sense or not. So it really makes a difference. I completely agree with it.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you're actually coaching other women entrepreneurs, so you would know this way better than me. But I think a woman can relate to another woman on a level that maybe we can't with, the other gender. So it
Right.
just really.
Okay, so when it comes to entrepreneurship, there are times when you feel very low, when you really feel like giving up, like exiting the entire thing. So I really feel that at that times you must acknowledge your milestones, your accomplishment, and push yourself to move ahead. So have been any times in your business where you felt low? What were the milestones you looked up to at those times?
Um, yeah, definitely. So I'll start with feeling low because we started out as a completely different business model in our first year. We were a food venture,
Hmm.
and when we realized a year later we had to repivot, it took me a moment. I mean, to not take it as a personal failure, to understand that this is all a part of life. Your
Right.
first venture, first idea is not going to be a success, and that's okay.
Hmm.
So that took me a little time to sort of just mentally be able to come to terms with and can't give up on that idea also. Um, I think that was a very low moment initially. The first year itself, wo jo jhatka laga, where you're like, okay, am I doing the right thing or not? But then again, like, I'm very blessed. I'm surrounded by just a very strong support team, including my co-founder. So we pivoted very fast after that. And I think just keeping yourself busy and moving on to the next thing, not pondering too long on what went wrong. Of course, you have to do a deep dive and learn from your mistakes, but you can't take that as a personal failure, because ups and downs and failures and successes, it's all relative. One day you're on top of the world, the other day you're crashing down. There's no guarantee in life.
Hmm.
So this was definitely a time when I was very low. um and uske baad to, I mean, every day just feels like a milestone only if you look at
Mhm.
it. Just being able to break even relatively early on in our operations. Just our customers who've been with us from day one, being able to, service them, keep adding to that customer base. It's just the best feeling in the world. And of course, just being able to sort of tap into different networks, even this Goldman Sachs program in IIM Bangalore. I mean, I don't come from a business background educationally at all.
Okay.
So I never thought that there would be a day when I would actually be attending classes in IIM Bangalore. That,
Hmm.
and just sort of putting it into context that it's India Fish Company which got me there in the first place.
Right.
So I think every day is a milestone, whatever little we do or whatever big things we do. I think it's all a journey, and you just have to, enjoy it, learn from it, and enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Shrutika. And this brings me to the end of today's podcast. What message would you like to give to all our audience, especially women entrepreneurs?
Um, I mean, you already can do it all as women. So never doubt yourself, keep pushing yourself, and, tap into that support system. And I mean, they don't need a message from me. I think women are rock stars. We already do it all. So just keep killing it and don't doubt yourself at any point.
Thank you so much for this powerful message, Shrutika. And thank you so much for taking out your precious time. It was our pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Ishleen. It was lovely speaking with you.
Same here.